Mic check 1 2. Mic check. Ocha, you never finish. Yo, how far now? You know, it's not a very manly thing to spend all day making up.
I wish I was actually making up.
Neither is it proper to keep a man with it.
Yo, how we doing?
Yeah, so it's good to see you once again. I think they missed us. Should we take pride in the fact that we've been missed? Good to catch up with you.
In as much as I don't like to admit that we were missed, I don't like to be missed, especially for projects like this. But
it's too mushy and unmanly to expect to be missed.
I don't want to admit that because of what we're talking about today. But yeah,
okay,
it's good to be back.
Yeah, it's good to be back on Food for Thought once again.
Yeah,
this is Jim Adie and the man that made the introduction,
David Afen Oda
for sure.
Yeah.
That prefix. Okay, so today we're talking masculinity. It's not a subject that needs introduction. I'll start with a simple story. Some time ago, I wrote a poem I titled Masquerading. Before I wrote that, Masquerading. Okay. Yeah, you know the whole idea of how masquerades cover themselves up.
Yeah.
Under that mask, it's perhaps some broke guy. Yeah. So masquerading is more like a way to. It's a way to cover yourself and still demand some sort of respect because they are feared. When you see them on the road, you run away from you. It's like masking up.
True.
But before I wrote that poem, I did somewhat of a quick questionnaire. I went out on the street and asked a couple of guys what it meant to be a man. The first guy I met, I asked him, what does it mean to be a man? How do you feel more manly? He said, as a man, leave him, you guys get money. You guys get money for this life. If you don't get money, you don't be man. The next guy said, masculinity is more about looking tough, looking very physical. So whether you're broke or not, hit the gym. Once you hit the gym, you look manly.
There's what your physique can cover up for.
Exactly. So the third guy now said, to be a man, nah man, you have to be good in bed. And that's why it pricks a man's ego when you call him a 1 minute man. So whether your money, no matter the money you get, no matter how tough looking you are,
just make sure that's ideal.
So it's more like masculinity now is more of a social construct. It's not something that is defined by biology anymore. The men back in the days were just once you're biologically qualified to be a man, yes, you can get a woman pregnant, you can put a woman in the house, take care of her. And why does it have to be tied to such a patriarchal definition as to be able to take care of a woman? When do you feel like a man, David, in Lagos?
In Lagos? I feel like a man in Lagos when responsibility hits me for chest. It's tough in Lagos. Lagos is not Calabar. Yeah, bro. There are absolutely different faces and approaches to what it means to be a man. Because I like to say you're first a male before you become a man. You're a male by biology. Yeah, by design you are a male because you have male physical organs. But you become a man by choice. You become a man when you decide to step into the shoes of design, responsibility, and
so being a man has nothing to do with gender. More of responsibility.
Because if you're going to go deep into the conversation, there are certain females that step into the shoes of manhood. Yes, in context of say widowhood or responsibilities. But if I would lay a foundation, I like to say when you're a male, you're a male out of design, you're a male by biology. You do not choose to become a male, but you choose to become a man. And before we give definition to anything, we have to trace it to the origin, right? Let's trace it to creation. Let's trace it to Adam, to the first man. What exactly did he do that gave credence to his manhood? What exactly did he do, or what exactly was accredited to him, or was accredited to him for being a man? I like to say work.
Okay.
I like to say responsibility. Yeah, even though the being good in bed part that you mentioned is actually important. Even though that's an important, it's actually an important part, because like if we are going to talk about the biological side to it, the necessary or the what necessitates strength in bed and sexual desires and all of that. But I think if you are going to go according to order, scale of preference, the first thing is work. What validates, what accredits you as a man is your work. In as much as being good in bed is a vital it's a vital necessity for manhood. Yes, it's vital, it's important.
I like the phrasing for manhood.
Yes. In as much as that's important, but there's something that should precede that. According to the scale of preference, or according to priority, right? God created man and gave him work before he created Eve.
Okay.
So God gave man work before he gave man woman.
So the work comes first.
Exactly. What should be the kickstarter to your definition as a man is your work. What do you have in hand? For Adam, it will be tend for the garden, look after what I've given to you, the vegetations, the animal, name them, take care of it, multiply, take charge, have dominion. That's his work. And then in that work, the woman has her essence, come in and be his helpmeet. So as a man, the first thing you should answer is, or the first question you should answer to validate your manhood or your masculinity is what's your work, because it's your work that gives your worth. And by work, I'm not talking about office, I'm not talking about civil service, I'm talking about essence, I'm talking about purpose, I'm talking about influence, I'm talking about value. What footprint do you leave whenever you walk out of the room? What effect, or what are you remembered for whenever you step into a room and walk out? That's what defines your work.
Okay, so I have a bit of a problem here, a personal problem. I find myself in a very problematic age gap. Now, this is what I mean. I was groomed by parents from a time where the blueprints for manhood from that we inherited from our parents showed that it is uncharacteristic of a man to cry, to be vulnerable. You had to be tough. You had to be biologically fit, and biology is all about survival. Now we are in a generation, the Gen Z generation is more sensitive to emotional health. It's more sensitive to mental health. So part of the things that we are re-emphasizing in the Gen Z era is that men ought to be vulnerable sometimes. We have to let out. So I kind of find myself on the fence, and I don't know what reactions sometimes to give to.
What does it? When you say let out, what exactly do you mean by let out?
Okay, so a lady posted a video on Instagram where she was saying that women will lock up too much, that she expects her husband to sometimes cry on her thigh, metaphorically, and also like share their problems. And another guy is like, don't share your problems. So it's a bait to fall into trap. Don't share your problems with the woman, because they really can't do anything to help you. Over the past couple of months, some men have cried online.
I usually
the outroar of sarcasm and humor that followed that. Yes, we are yet to even recover from the Robbie Ekpo's saga. Yes, before Robbie, some other I think Lucky you do cry.
To what end?
Do you know the most vulnerable I've ever felt in my life? So it was a period when I think I was about 14, 15. So I was mature enough to understand what was going on. And then my dad had just acquired a plot in Calabar he was building on. So it was more like his life project, his retirement project. He'd let him just do this to create that stability for his family. Once you've sorted out the house problem, you get every other thing falls into place. So that land was his biggest
asset,
project.
At the time.
And then it now happened that the state government took it. For some during this era, about the time that they were collecting people's property at Waterboard. So I walked into the house and I saw my dad crying, and I felt very hopeless. It was not a sight I was prepared for
at all.
Yes, it was not a sight nothing broke me like that time. I don't think I like the sight of a man crying.
Well, I usually like to say the bravest and strongest of men are the ones that cry. Yes, because it takes a lot of strength to not let. It takes a lot of strength to admit that you're weak. You get. It takes a lot of inner strength to admit that it's fine to cry. It's fine to let emotions out. Every human being is wired with emotions.
Okay.
Yeah, and in short, the expression of emotions is what validates your being. It's what validates your should I say mental health. The fact that you can feel pain and let it out is what validates that first of all your mental health is in check. You have a good mental health. So if when men, I do not know the origin of men posing a certain masculine and vivid and muscular strength look to validate manhood. I don't know where that origin started from, or I don't know where that movement, that societal expectation began from. But I still like to maintain the fact that it is strength. Think about it this way. The moment you start thinking that people should not see me in this light, validates the fact that there's either an esteem issue, there's either a peer pressure, there's a pressure issue, an inferiority issue somewhere. But you step into a certain level of manhood where you've defeated that and you say, this is me, I have emotions. One of the best ways to even handle or deal with issues is to first admit and express them. One of my most vulnerable moments also as a man was when I was the reason, like I did something that made my parents have countless sleepless nights. I mean, of tea. No, I was stubborn. I was actually stubborn. I mean, you know when you wake up late in the night and you hear your parents shed tears. One night, 2 nights, 3 nights for what you did.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into the details, but that moment was crazy for me. I mean, like I came out of that situation and I was like, if this thing no kill my parents, then nothing will ever kill them. But for particularly as the first son, there's an expectation, there's a lens through which you're being viewed. There's a lens through which your parents look at you, and then when you begin to go against the expectations early enough, it's crazy. It can be very, very crazy. So those moments were the moments that made me feel like, it's fine to make mistakes. And then you step into manhood when you dust your feet, make these mistakes, come back, think about them, laugh, and move on. Yeah. Let's go.
So I was going to finish off a point. I think that life itself is performative. The reason why you felt that disturbed is because there's an expectation your parents have about you. So life is performative in the sense that somebody said something quite remarkable. I can't remember the name of that guy now. He said that you are not what you think you are. You are what you think people think you are. Think about it. You are what you think people think you are. Yeah. So the way I act around here is because of how I think people perceive
you to be. Yeah, I feel you.
So if I was left to my own liberty and space, I might do some things that will be ugly in people's face. So once I come out in public, I want to act how people see
perceived to be.
Yes.
But is that not mounting pressure on the true expression of masculinity? Because I like to go back to what I said. We are first males before we choose to become men. And does masculinity end at just being performative? And this leads me to my next question about the provider and protector instinct, because there's a traditional male expectation of a man, gender roles, or how some people put it, like especially between man and woman or between husband and wife. What makes you a man? I provide. and I protect. That's performance. So
it's not possible to have a life that is not scripted. Everything is scripted. Yes, that's because from when I was a child, when I fall down, so you know how a child is playing around and you fall down and hit your head or something. It's a stand up, you be man. So the indoctrination has started from that time. I really cannot imagine a world where there is no script. Yes, you're not told what to do based on your gender.
But that's exactly why we are having this conversation. Like we can grow into building a better scope, into propagating a better society where this is how it has been all the while, and this is not how it is supposed to be anymore. Things are supposed to change. I also like us to touch the gender sexual part of it. Now, I started by saying it's possible that some women or some females can actually grow and mature into stepping into masculine roles of responsibility.
Yes.
For widows, that's possible for some widows. So it means beyond the ability to have a great sexual life, beyond the ability to last long in bed, beyond all this performative show of masculinity, what else? I'm asking, and I'm also trying to figure out the answer in my head. Like, you people that are viewing can also help me out. What else validates a man? What actually accredits your manhood beyond just acting, beyond just performing? Between husband, wife, family, and children, as a man, if I'm able to just provide and protect and lead, is that enough?
You've already buttressed a very strong point. I think it's the prerequisites to be called man is to have your work going and in order.
Yes,
the work that man was given. But about the roles, it's really the very functional thing that roles do, whether they are bad or they are good, is that at least it shows us a direction that society can work.
Orderliness.
Yes, it creates orderliness. Apart from that, there's going to be confusion. And that is why when a woman steps into the shoe of a man, it is exceptional. It's worth celebrating.
That's exactly why I have issues. That's exactly why I have issues with performative roles.
You can point out and say that woman has been...
The ability to provide and protect, a woman can also do that. Think about it.
Very rarely.
If what defines you as a man is that you can provide and protect, there are women that can do that, and they can do that exceptionally well. So does that mean she's now the woman, or you are now the man? She's now the man and you're not the woman.
Do you know that it is easy to, and this is not a sexist statement, it's easy to see the dysfunctional upbringing in the life of a young man that did not have a fatherly presence. You can see that in the American society.
True, I agree.
Yes, I'm not giving too much credit to men that they do better parenting than women, but it is easy to notice the gap of a missing father,
especially in upbringing.
Yes.
I have a question talking about father. Let's compare man and woman, or in the marriage, in the typical marriage setting between man and woman. What would you say should be or what do you think should be the best approach to marriage with regards defining roles and responsibility? Is it supposed to be let's come together and do this thing, like compliment me as much as I compliment you, or do you think we should actually stick to I am the man leader, so allow me provide, protect, and lead you while you follow me? Because the reason, like I said before, the reason why I do not want to completely rely on these three things as what defines a man is because even a female human can do these things, can lead, can provide, and can protect. There are very crazy women that can go very physical. They are mad people. So what do you think should be or what do you think a beautiful marriage setting should be, where masculinity is actually shown and appreciated, and there's a divide.
Okay, so this is what I think, and of course you know me that I don't like to come from a religious perspective.
Yeah.
So when you look at most animals, most mammals, you can see that biology has already naturally created a sort of how things work.
Yeah.
It is the males that often, apart from exceptional cases like the lions, you get, it's the males that often do the providing. Yes.
True.
And then, so I think males are biologically wired for leadership, because no matter how you see it, there is no way two people together can work without leadership. Even within yourself, even one person needs leadership, because there are sometimes when you're like, what am I supposed to do right now? I'm supposed to complete this task. I have a deadline tonight. And another thing is like, no, make I go play ball. Might just go chill. So you find that there's always a conflict even within yourself.
True.
So the leadership now could be that discipline in you to know that, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. Two people cannot really work without a government. And I think nature saw that gap.
But when you say okay, but how then do we work with the complementation approach to marriage?
This is what I think,
because it is supposed to be a tag team. I compliment you, you compliment me. If we are complementing each other, it means it's a together thing.
Yes.
Does that not oppose the you leading me factor?
I didn't finish my point. So I think that while men are biologically wired to be leaders of the home, there is something very rare and very precious that the women have, and which is the ability to nurture.
True.
Yes, they have the ability to nurture and grow something. Like Dr. Miles Monroe of blessed memory said it, that when you give a woman a house, she makes a home out of it.
True.
When you give a woman sperm, she makes
children,
she makes a child out of it. When you give a woman problem, she makes hell out of it. She gives you hell out of it.
Yeah.
So they are more like catalysts. They know how to biologically wire. But in terms of the administrative ability, I like to think that biologically men were wired for that leadership, except for the fact that a lot of men failed, because human beings have their weaknesses. I don't really see, which brings me to the main point now, I don't really see being vulnerable and crying as a strong attribute of the leader. Which is why I think that my dad's vulnerability at that point broke me. While it may be a beautiful breath of fresh air that finally a man can cry out, but it was a terrifying sight.
Well, I thank God for how my dad brought us up. My father is he doesn't waste time in expressing his emotions.
The pattern he brought you guys up
He
with?
doesn't waste time in expressing how he feels. If it's a pathetic situation, he will cry. My dad. And then that's why I think he was my first contact of masculinity. He was my first contact point. Example of masculinity. Because on a personal note, I like to think that I can be very, very expressive.
Okay.
Yes, I can be very emotional and I can be very expressive. If there's a thing on my mind, it has a way of showing on my face. It has a way of.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I feel like men should, moving forward, I feel like men should grow into accepting the fact that expression in itself is one of the first proof of accurate masculinity.
Okay,
expression.
Repeat that again.
Yes, men should grow into believing and accepting that, because it becomes an unsolved puzzle once you keep holding it inside.
Which is, I think that we have for ourselves a society that discourages the expression of a man's emotion.
Yes.
And a lot of men are confused.
And it leads into danger.
A lot of men take it to the extreme point where they hit women because they've bottled up so much emotion.
Exactly, and then once there's time to express it,
they don't know how to articulate it. So some other men at the extreme end of the tunnel now that don't want to get physical, keep malice, like our brother Frank Edoho. Yes. So what do you guys expect us to do?
But you know that's a tool for some people, for some persons in relationship. They believe that if they play the mystical game on you, they make you chase them.
Okay.
That's what some people believe, that okay, if I keep myself exclusive, if I do not chase you, if I play the mystical, manipulative, some people believe that manipulation is what makes them attractive. So when I hear people say things like
is it to be manipulative or to be mysterious?
Being mysterious over someone that is supposed to be your life partner.
That's toxic.
It's exactly in itself is manipulation. Because what do you mean by I'm good at keeping malice?
I think I can attempt to understand the psychology behind
what's
why
that?
he said,
so that you know that I'm mad at you.
Not that I'm not trying to justify it. It's a very toxic thing to give your partner silent treatment.
Yes,
it's toxic. It's toxic to be mysterious, especially when you're already in an institution like
how do you solve a problem
where you're supposed to be open. But I'm trying to see how best to deal with a woman that does not understand you. Let's say, and this is in no light trying to define anything like in the actual sense happening in Frank's marriage or between him and his ex former wife. But I think if I had to deal with a toxic woman, a nagging woman, a woman that is continuously against my peace, as against being physical, I think the best approach is just to go mute on that person. But
you know, going mute leaves a question mark. Going mute never solves anything. It leaves a puzzle.
What if there be repeated attempts to communicate?
Well, communication is perfection for me. I believe accurate communication. It is not communication if we are not heading towards solving the problem. Having a conversation is not necessarily communication. Communication is there's a problem. Let's talk about the problem and let's make headway into solving this problem. You get? And this should lead me to my next question. Is it possible to have touch points with masculinity without comparison to femininity or feminism?
Like, okay, if men can remember to be a man without comparison,
can we be men and maintain being men without that comparison to women? Because that's exactly what exactly what
I think what creates the comparison is we are not in a vacuum. If men were in a vacuum, then we can say, okay, we know what it means to be a man. But we have to continuously on a daily basis interact with women. So now we have a society where people have a poor orientation about what is expected of a man and a woman. A broken society like that is going to create a broken relationship. It's going to create broken homes. Yeah, imagine a woman that I talked to a lady and she said that she does everything for herself. She doesn't know why she needs a man. Yes, like this is a lady that can change her own car tire.
She produces children by herself.
She can change her car tire.
Does she have a libido? How does she?
She's very masculine in her disposition. Very, very masculine in her disposition. So she doesn't really see the need for a man. And if she had a way, she'll just pay off a guy to like get her pregnant. She'd have a child. She doesn't see the need for the companionship. Yes. So we are not in a vacuum. Women are not in a vacuum. Men are not in a vacuum. We have to constantly interact with ourselves. So in a way, how I think a man should react per situation depends on the person I'm dealing with, the female I'm dealing with here. So I don't know if I've been able to like attempt to answer that question.
Because the reason why I asked is because women, every day there's a rising demand in equality.
Yes.
there's a rising demand in equality and fairness. Women are craving to be heard more. Women are desiring to receive the same equal fair treatment that men get. Women want to step into leadership positions. Women want to be able to have the capacity to provide, to protect, and to lead. These things that society make us believe that are the components of a man. This is what women are every day clamoring for. So if we step into, if that's what defines a man, then it means feminism or femininity in itself is almost it begins to sound like we want to be men too.
Okay.
That if we are going to confine masculinity to just being able to provide, protect, and lead. So that's why I'm thinking that we should bring men should grow into bringing, or men should grow into seeing masculinity as, I have a responsibility. My work is my responsibility, and keeping up to this responsibility makes everybody that it attracts see me as a balanced contributor to nature and contributor to the divine existence of this world, of the earth. Yeah.
So I think, let me make some pronouncement. I think that if as a man you don't have leadership in your toolbox, then there's something seriously missing from your masculinity. I think to be masculine is to have leadership traits.
Yeah. And
if as a man you are insecure about a woman being expressive, a woman showing her feminine dominance, if whether it's in a workspace or in a marriage institution, if you are threatened by a woman exhibiting her feminism, then, or you think that it's a channel to take advantage of that vulnerability, of the vulnerability that comes to be feminine, you want to take advantage of that, then I think you are not.
There's this incompleteness or unwholesomeness in you.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying this to undermine the feminine gender, but there's a lot of pressure. There's a whole lot of pressure on men, particularly young boys. There's a whole lot of pressure on an expectation from society, from loved ones, from families, from friends. Men have the highest suicidal rate. Men have the highest crime rate. There are a lot of men in the prisons. A lot of men that commit crime on a daily basis. That's because of the whole pressure and the whole expectation on the shoulders of men, young boys particularly. What does it mean to be a man is a question that is posed to every young guy out there. So in a bid to shape society, or in a bid to help that young guy in your closet, I think the best we can do is just say a word of encouragement, a little thank you for all you do.
Exactly.
Can go a long way.
I've always thought that the attention that is put on raising the girl child, the boy child deserves more than that.
I don't want to say more, but as much attention that is given to, because that's a very, very valid point. So
people say they have to raise woman pikin.
Exactly.
I think that.
But meanwhile, if you think about it, it could be harder to even raise some men.
A lot of men don't know what it means to be a man.
A lot.
All they know is that make money and make mommy proud.
Exactly. It doesn't matter how that money is made.
Yes.
But that's even a more risky approach to how money should be made. And then, like I started by saying, I don't intend to undermine or undervalue the feminine gender. But when we get comfortable with ideologies like women should be paid more attention to, it makes the man feel like his upbringing doesn't matter much. You get, but just like you said, as much attention should be given to women, even so should that same attention. I don't want to say even more, because there's no gender that is more important than the other.
But I just feel like a society where if you train the men in a society, you would have solved half the problem.
Okay, you are going to cause some problems.
Yes, because no matter how vulnerably careless the female gender try to be, you have leaders that can protect their vulnerabilities. I just feel like that.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
A society where the female gender is completely untrained can still survive more than a society where the male gender is completely untrained.
There's more. There'll be more endangered species. There'll be more hazards outside.
If careless adrenaline.
I agree. So, like I said, rounding up, like I said, every young guy out there deserves a tap on the back. Every young guy out there deserves a thank you for being true. Thank you for your effort. Thank you for, because these are the little ways that they can be encouraged into becoming better men.
Yes.
You get, a lot of young guys delve into diverse vices just to be validated as men. Cybercrime is on the crazy rise now. Rape is on the crazy rise now. Cultism is on the crazy rise now. Every young man out there is also under the pressure of the need to be validated as a man.
Rape is so permitted, it has become a
do you understand? So for every young guy out there, for every young man, every growing guy that is out there trying his best, please, the best we can do for them is say thank you. Thank you for being true. Thank you for staying true to responsibility. Thank you for staying true to culture. Thank you for staying true to being the best version of yourself. And I believe that can be a stepping stone into even making or achieving more from men or from young guys. Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense. I think my last thoughts on this episode would be a line I used to end my poem Masquerading, that we are not the strongest of shoulders to cry on, but our heart is a serviette. Yes, so we've got that heart where you can be vulnerable on. Yes, but we still need, we still have our lapses, we still have our yes. It's not like an advocacy to vindicate ourselves as men, but
and then we will have an episode where we'll talk about women, or we'll talk about feminism.
Yes, I feel like I want to bring a woman here.
That's pretty much it. So see you guys next episode. Ocha David Afen, or Da for short.
So get in the comment section and tell us what it means to be a man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Peace out.